Lonely Mountain Man meets a mysterious woman who changed his life. Asterisk high in the Bitterroot Mountains, where snow lingered on jagged peaks and pine forests stretched forever, lived a man named Caleb Walker. Folks in the valley called him the Hermit of the Hills. To most, he was nothing but a rumor, a ghost in the timberline dot. But Caleb was flesh and blood. He split wood, hunted elk, fished the icy rivers, and tended to the little cabin he had built with his own hands. For 10 years, he had lived this way, alone, silent, tucked away from the world. Some nights, as the fire crackled low, memories crept in. Memories of a different life, of the war, of faces he had loved and lost. On those nights, loneliness pressed down like a heavy snowfall. He told himself he needed no one, but in truth, Caleb Walker was a man hollowed out by silence. Asterisk. It was late, autumn, when Caleb's world shifted. He was stacking firewood when movement caught his eye on the trail far below. A rider, alone. As the figure climbed closer, he saw it was a woman. Her horse staggered, weary from miles of hard travel. Dust clung to her clothes. Her hat was pulled low, but her eyes, sharp and tired, met his with a steady gaze. "Evening," Caleb called, voice gravelly from disuse. The woman reined in her horse. "Evening. I was hoping to find shelter before nightfall. My horse won't make it much farther." Caleb studied her. Strangers never came this high. A woman alone? Stranger still. After a long pause, he stepped aside. "Water for your horse. Fire inside, if you want it." Relief softened her expression. "Thank you, sir. Name's Clara." "Caleb Walker," he replied. And with that, the silence of his world cracked open. Asterisk. Inside, the fire warmed the cabin walls. Clara sat close, stretching her hands toward the flames. Caleb poured her coffee, the strong, bitter kind he always drank. "I've been riding for weeks," she said, softly. "Left behind a town I had no business staying in. Guess I'm looking for something better, or just something different." "Trouble?" Caleb asked. Clara gave a small smile. "Ain't the West always trouble? Let's just say there were men who thought they owned me. But I had other ideas." Caleb didn't push for more. He knew what it was to run. He knew what it was to bury the past. For now, he was just grateful for her company, the first voice in his cabin besides. His own in years. Asterisk days turned into weeks. Caleb expected Clara to leave after a night, maybe 2. But she stayed. And in staying, she changed everything. She helped mend the roof before winter snow. She gathered herbs in the meadow, teaching him names he never knew. She even laughed when his old hound Bear tripped over his paws, chasing a rabbit. That laugh, it stirred something in Caleb he thought was long dead. For the first time in years, he found himself talking. Really talking. About the land, the rivers, the quiet he once called a burden. Clara listened. And slowly, the silence that once suffocated him became something else. A peace. A home. Asterisk. But peace is fragile in the West. One night, hoofbeats echoed up the trail. Caleb heard them before Clara did. Sharp, steady, growing louder. When he looked outside, he saw the glow of torches winding through the trees. Clara froze, color draining from her face. "They've found me," she whispered. "Who?" Caleb demanded. "Outlaws," she said, voice shaking. "Men from Copper Ridge. I ran from their saloon, from their grip, and they don't forgive." Caleb gripped his rifle. For years, he had hidden from the world. But now, with Clara trembling before him, something fierce ignited inside. They won't take you, he growled. Asterisk. 5 outlaws rode into the clearing, snarling like wolves. Their leader spat into the dirt. Hand her over, mountain man. She's ours. Caleb stepped forward, rifle steady. She ain't yours. You ride back down, or you won't ride at all. The clearing exploded with gunfire. Muzzle flashes lit the trees. Caleb fired with the precision of a man who had seen war. Clara crouched inside, loading cartridges, passing them to him with shaking hands. One outlaw dropped. Another fled into the dark. The leader cursed and charged, but Caleb's rifle spoke first. When the smoke cleared, silence returned, except for Clara's ragged breathing as she rushed into his arms. You risked your life for me, she whispered. Asterisk. Caleb held her close. Weren't no risk. Was the only choice. When morning came, the mountain was quiet again, but it wasn't the old kind of quiet. The empty silence Caleb once carried. Together, he and Clara patched bullet holes, fed the animals, and sat by the fire with hands entwined. She chose to stay, not out of fear, but because she had found something worth staying for. And Caleb, once the lonely mountain man, found himself waking each morning with a reason to smile. The silence of the Bitterroot Mountains was no longer hollow. It was filled with laughter, with warmth, with love. As spring thawed the snow, Caleb and Clara stood side by side on the ridge, watching the sun rise over the endless frontier. Their future was unwritten, but for the first time, Caleb wanted to write it. Asterisk.